Welcome back. Joe Baklovic and Chip Nellinger joining us now to talk markets. Joe, let's start with soybean prices because soybeans taking a hard fall on Wednesday after down days Monday, a down day on Tuesday. What was causing that pressure on the soybean market earlier this week?
I think the market is again trading some of the old stories, some of the things that we've been trading for months. The idea that Brazil is going to have a monster crop, the idea or maybe fact at this point that ending stocks at the end of the marketing year, globally speaking, are going to be record high. We've got a tremendously burdensome supply and demand situation globally. To put it in perspective, what USDA is projecting, they're projecting that we're going to have more than one U.S. crop worth of soybeans left over globally at the end of the marketing year. And there's just too many soybeans out there.
Wow, and USDA actually updating that world look at stocks in the February WASDE report. Typically not a huge report because we know we have the Ag Outlook Forum at the end of the month, and we're waiting for the March prospective plantings report. But were there any big changes to you this week from WASDE?
Yeah, I think the big change was that the world carryout, especially on corn, was below the lowest estimate, even lower on beans than what was expected. So, I don't disagree with what Joe said. I mean, we are facing a massive wall of beans out of Brazil as their harvest picks up steam here over the coming days and weeks. But yet, there were some cuts from the Argentine side of the equation on both corn and beans, and even a small cut on the Brazil corn. And so, big picture, I think part of what Joe's talking about is getting to be old news a little bit. But really, I think that all along, the bean market could be the weak link here, at least for a period of time as we struggle with those supplies out of the southern hemisphere. Corn and wheat probably diverging a little bit here. And, some of the action earlier this week with corn up, beans down, it's really kind of a confusing trade in here. Throw in some tariff talks in the middle of that, and you've got a lot of potential volatility ahead.
Joe, USDA leaving the corn and soybean numbers unchanged when you look at U.S. ending stocks. That was after some major changes in January, especially to corn. Do you think that was the story out of the WASDE report this week?
I think there was a story in the U.S. carryout numbers or the U.S. balance sheet for corn, and it was a non-story. USDA didn't change anything. There appeared to be, at least to me, a contingent of traders who were looking for a lower U.S. carryout estimate. You can absolutely make an argument that USDA is too low with its export projection, maybe ethanol also. And when that report came out and USDA left the U.S. corn balance sheet unchanged, the market sold off instantly. So I think that I think there are a number of traders. You look at the fund position, they believe that the situation in the United States for corn is tighter than what USDA is leading us to believe at this point. I think USDA is going to come up with those demand estimates at some point in time. Maybe it's next month, maybe it's not, but I kind of agree with that contingent of the trade that they're a little bit too heavy with this carryout estimate.
Chip, do you agree with that? And when do you think USDA could make those revisions?
Yeah, they got plenty of time, Tyne. Typically they don't make big changes. We saw that January report. I should say the December report, they made that big, increase in demand. So they got plenty of time to do that. Agree 100% with Joe. The export pace and the ethanol pace would lead you to believe that, they could tweak that another 50, 75 million higher on that demand and cut the carryout further. The funds are trading like that. Every break gets bought and, the market shrugs off bearish news. And I think it is because of that good demand base. So, do they do it in March? Do they just kind of piecemeal into it, going into April and May? I think that Joe's right. Eventually you're going to see that, but maybe the market got a little bit too ahead of itself ahead of this report this week.
Well, we did see some revisions this week from looking at Brazil's crop. So we need to check out the soybean crop as well as the corn crop, and then talk about, is there any war premium built into this market right now? We'll do all of that right after the break.